Yo, this your boy EC22, and this is the Fair Weather Fan channel, man. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation, and guess what? Join the community. I see you guys have been chiming in, leaving comments, man. I really, really appreciate it. Good or bad, we're here for all the smoke, but be ready for the smoke when I clap back. No, just playing. All jokes aside, listen, this is a follow-up video to when I talked about the Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. I know this thing keeps going on and on, but it is what it is. I'm here for it to see this thing get resolved. But I got information now. But when I did my earlier video, I didn't have all the information. But now, since then, Stephen A. Smith had went on the Gills Arenas podcast, and he kind of cleared the air about some things, or he kind of give us more information. So here it is. Let's just go and throw it out there. This is alarming to me. This is sad because I assumed, based on what I saw, the clip that went viral between Stephen A. and LeBron, that this encounter happened pregame. But it didn't, y'all. This happened during the third quarter. This is wrong on so many levels. For years, players have been throwing their complaints to the league about being protected from these out-of-control fans. We know what happens when players get involved with the fans, getting tossed out, they get suspended games, and a lot of them maybe get suspended for a year. We saw what happened in the Palace. I don't care who Stephen A. Smith is as a journalist or as an NBA employee of ESPN and Disney, somebody who covers the game. Regardless, he is still a fan when he show up in the arena. So for LeBron James to walk over to Stephen A. during the third quarter, what in the world is going on here? How was this allowed to happen? Privilege. LeBron James is who he is, and that's sad. And I know what you're saying. Well, you know, LeBron James, listen, he's LeBron James. Yeah, if Jay-Z at the game, we see them going over chest bumping, high-fiving. If Rich Paul was at the game, we know how their relationship is. If Denzel was at the game, or if Matthew McConaughey or whoever, we get the star factor, the fan. Okay, I'm a basketball player, but I'm a fan of these guys. I totally understand it. But we're talking about negative interactions. The players don't have a problem with the fans. It's just when the fans get out of pocket. That's what they want protection from. Let's call it what it is. Because celebrities want to be celebrated. They need the fans. This was the problem with the bubble. It was great, but you cannot continue that to be the normal for any sports, so where there's no fans in the stadium. The league won't survive without the fans. So the players need the fans. The fans is what get the guys motivated and rallied up to do better. If LeBron James is walking up the sideline or going out to the tunnel and a fan yells out, "LeBron James, you're a bitch," all of a sudden, hell is breaking loose. The fan got to get tossed out and maybe banned for life because he said something, a hostile act towards a player. And we all can agree with that because we don't want fans messing up for the rest of us. But if a fan says LeBron James is my best player in the world, oh my God, please sign this jersey that I bought. LeBron James signed the jersey. This person go to eBay and make thousands of dollars off the jersey, and everybody's happy. So we don't mind interaction. It's just when the fans get out of bounds. You see where I'm going with this? LeBron James approached Stephen A. in a negative way, negative energy. With all security they got, and somebody should have done something, and LeBron James should have been fined. And he still should be fined for walking up now that we know what happened. He should not be allowed to walk up to that man like that. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care if, for craps and giggles, let's just say that Stephen A. Smith went hard on Bronny James, which we know he didn't, because he don't do personal. Stephen A. Smith do not do personal. It may feel that way, but it's not. But let's just say he went personal and called Bronny James all out his name. That is still the wrong time to approach that man. You don't do that. We saw what happened in the Malice and Palace. Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, got a bottle of beer thrown at him from a spectator. He runs up in the stands to defend himself and still got him suspended for the rest of that year. Because you just don't do that. If this man said words against your son that you didn't like, whether it was warranted, whether it was not warranted, whether it was personal or not personal, you don't walk up on that man at a game, bruh. You don't do that. LeBron James, in my opinion, is number 5 or he's number, because I got Magic, y'all saw my list build. If I had a top 5, it would be Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, and then Jordan in that order. That's my top 5, and it ain't changing for a long, long time, right? It's just that, respectfully, LeBron James, I give him all the kudos, but you pulled yourself down into this rank. So if anybody want to know where my Mount Rushmore came by saying that putting LeBron James at 3rd, all lists didn't come until after what I saw this transpired. He fell down off the list because of this one interaction. And it's my list, it's my emotion list, and we don't have to argue about it because I'm not wrong in that category because there's no rules to it. You can't tell me I'm wrong. You can say it, but it don't mean anything. To me, it's not going to change. You went from being number 2 in my eyes to number 3. Actually, you went from number 2 to, because you went number 2 because now you're number 4. Because I said the Mount Rushmore is 4, but if I actually include Jordan in that whole conversation, it's top 5. That means I got Magic at number 5. LeBron at number 4, Kobe at number 3, Shaq at number 2, and Jordan at number 1. In that order. That's how I got it. You went from being 2nd to Jordan to now you're 4th on the list because of what you did. That was shit. Now, Stephen A. Smith, to get back to what I was saying, Stephen A. Smith goes on Gil's podcast, Gil's Arena podcast, and he basically lets us know that LeBron James walked up to him and used a bunch of F-bombs. Leave my effing son alone. Stop talking about my effing son, and then walks off. Even after Stephen A. tried to get clarity, he didn't want it, and he walks off. See, where I'm from, you don't have to say, I'm going to whoop your tail in a conversation for me to take it as a threat. From where I'm from, you use a couple of F-bombs in a row, see, that's triggering. That takes me to a whole nother realm. For me, that's the threatening. Your energy, your facial expression, and the words you're using, that's threatening. And you don't walk up on another man and threaten him like that. That, for you, LeBron, nobody should be able to do that, but you was allowed to do that? No, that's cool. But anyway, Stephen A. clears the air. He said, listen, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was talking about him, talking about LeBron James, but he came up and said his son. And then he goes on to give a spiel. Then Swagger P, Nick Young, jumps in and says that, wait a minute, wait. Okay, I get all the stuff you're saying about Bronny James. Basically, LeBron James said that his son is better than current NBA players just when he was playing at USC. That's why his son should be drafted, because he's better right now than current NBA players. And that you draft his son, you get me. So basically letting people know, if you want me on your squad, get my son. And Swagger P said, wait a minute, as a parent, we're not supposed to encourage our kids? Is that what you're telling us? Is that a problem? We're not supposed to encourage our kids? That don't make any sense. And I love what Kenyon said. Kenyon said, yeah, you can encourage your kids to play. He said nobody wanted it more than me for my son to get into the league. And that's what Kenyon's saying about his son. He said he wanted it just as much as his son, maybe more, for his son to follow his footsteps and get into the league. But he said as a father, he had to step away and let his son get it organically. That way he know he deserves it. He know he deserves it. He know he got into the league despite of who his daddy is, or in spite of who his daddy is. He made it into the league on his own, not because of me. And that's what he wanted for his son. But LeBron James, like, we ain't on that. My son's gonna get to the league because of me. And Gilbert Arenas made this beautiful point. And if it's this the case, I can roll with it. I can roll with it. He said, as an NBA player, we don't get a lot of chance to spend with our kids because we're always on the go. We're on the boom, boom, in and out, in and out, in and out. We may get a few moments in the offseason, but other than that, that's it, in and out. And LeBron James been in the league for a long, long time since he was a kid. And so basically, Bronny's whole life, his dad has been an NBA superstar. In and out, in and out, in and out. And so now, you look a few years ago, Bronny almost died. Thank God that our Lord and Savior had another plan for him. But can you imagine what's going on? I haven't been there for my son all this time, then I almost lost him. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. I'm not playing another season without my son by my side. Now that we're this close, draft him, you got me. because I want to spend a few years with my son. I want to go all these years in and out of my son's life. I want at least before I sit down and retire, I want, because he's going to be in and out if he stays any length of this league. So before I retire, I want to make sure that I have some good years with my son. And I told, if he would have said that, if that is the case, that was Gil's perspective. I don't know if that was LeBron's perspective, but if that's what LeBron was really on, you come out and say it. Maybe not. I mean, just go on a podcast, man. Go on live and say it. You ain't got to call a press conference to say it. Just make it. Just put it out there. We all would understand. We all would get it. If nepotism is going to be used for anything, this would make sense to us. But you can go out there and trash the guys that work hard to get into this league on their own name and on their own dime to say that your son is better when he's clearly not. Listen, when you say your son is better, he may be better than a guy who was drafted but never got a chance to play, who got sent to the G League. Because we saw what Bronny does in the G League. He's killing over there. But that's not, as spectators of the NBA, we're not thinking about G League players right now. We're not thinking about the cats that's on the roster that don't get to play. We're not talking about that 15 to 20-year-old veteran that has saw his better days and now he's just sitting out riding the pine out to just for the end of his contract. When you say your son is better than current NBA players, our minds as spectator goes to the guys we see playing the game at a high level. So when you said that, we're like, oh, if LeBron James said his son is better, he must see stuff we don't see, so we can't wait to see Bronny get in this league. And when he came into the league, he is not that. So if you at least would have clarified which NBA player you was talking about, you wouldn't get this smoke from people like me, who's a podcast who's going to cover the sport. LeBron James. I'm sorry. So to answer Swaggy P's point or his concern, yes, I get, yeah, you want to definitely encourage your child. But understand this, people don't have to agree with you. You're not always right. Just because you said something, that don't mean the whole world got to be into it. And I think was this LeBron James' expectation? That because he said something, we got to rock with it? Because he said something, now we got to keep quiet on it? No. You said your son was better than NBA players, and we're still sitting around waiting for that day to happen. And right now, it haven't happened yet. And so we're going to talk about it. Because you said it. You are you are this generation's favorite player. You're the most decorated, most talked about, most noticeable, most visible player of this generation, LeBron James. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody listen to what you said. And when you come out and say it, you can't come back out and say these things about your son, then want to step back and say, let a kid be a kid. It's too late for that, bro. You said this. You set this in motion. And then you're going to walk up on people because they critiqued your son. And to Stephen A's defense, he said he never critiqued your son. He said he critiqued you. He said he's still yet to really, really dive in on your son. Everything he said was about what you did. But yet, I get it. I'm going to tell you what's happening here before I close. When people take up for other people, it's usually because the people can't defend themselves. Call it what it is. Straight up. And I say this respectfully. The only way Bronny can defend himself if he can back it up on the hardwood. LeBron James, we don't know, or we didn't see a father figure coming out for you, standing up for you when you came into the league, when you made some mistakes, when everybody jumped on your head for jumping ship in Cleveland going to South Beach. We whipped your head. Yes, we did. We all talked about it, and you had to eat that pie. But guess what? Winning 2 chips in Miami, you defended yourself. Then went right back to Cleveland and won a chip there. You defended yourself with how you handle yourself on the court. And that's when we became to understand and love you for who you are. But you know your son can't defend himself. That's why you got to get in as a father, because you know he can't back it up on the court. He can't silence all critics. He can't. Not right now. And that's the unfortunate part. But you thrust him in the spotlight. You told the whole world to watch and see. And now that he's getting booed off stage, now you want to come over there and cuss out the crowd? You put him on that damn stage, bro. It makes no sense to me. That's what you did. And that's why you fell off my list. And for those of you who want to say, Eric, that don't make no sense because we're talking about what you judge on a hardwood list, and it's my list. There ain't nothing you can do to have me to change my list. My list, I told you guys from Jump Street that my list is emotions based on what I see. Ain't got nothing to do with no rings and no stats. That ain't my list. My list is based on how I felt about a player. It's completely emotional. And I'm not changing rules for anybody. Your rules are your rules. These are my rules on how I choose my top 5. And LeBron James better be lucky he didn't fall off my top 5. Not that it mean anything to him. He don't care less about my stat, about my list. But it's my list, and it's my list as a Fair Weather Fan podcast owner, creator, curator. As Fair Weather Fan podcast, we have established that my 1 through 5 is Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, Magic in that order. Done deal. All because of that. All right. Now I'm going to end this with this. Debate is debate. Speaking about this whole GOAT conversation, y'all, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to this conversation. I thought long and hard about this. There is no right or wrong answer to this conversation. There are things that you can get away with, some things you can't get away with. Me and my good friend, Jonathan G., he comes on the podcast and leave comments. He made a statement last night. He said that he felt that Dak is better than Josh Allen. I can come back and clap back and give my 2 cents. But at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer to that. If he feels like Dak is better than Josh Allen as a football player, as a quarterback, then that's his opinion. I have my opinion to think otherwise. So therefore, I'm going to pull out my emotional bag and throw at him. He's going to throw out stats and stuff like that. And we're going to agree to disagree, but respectfully. I've been knowing this guy since I was 3 years old. Jonathan G. Much love to my brother. Love him like a brother. We're not going to lose our 45-year history over 2 guys that don't know our name. But that's what you guys do in this GOAT debate. You sit around, you stop talking to your father, you stop talking to your brother, you and your sister don't even communicate anymore. You got best friends that you've pretty much counseled all because of disagreements. You got ESPN shows that you don't watch anymore because you don't like the analysts not agreeing with you. How silly is that? I love Shannon Sharp. But LeBron James is Shannon Sharp GOAT over Jordan. That don't mean I turn off First Take. That don't mean I stop watching Nightcap. That don't mean I stop watching Club Shay Shay. We just don't see it the same way. It's okay. Y'all, it is okay to have a disagreement. And I had a little funny segment because one of my podcasts, J-Dub, said that, no, you can't get it wrong when you're choosing to go. You can't get it wrong. There is a right or wrong answer. And we joked to say, okay, if somebody said that Mario Chalmers, no, we love you, Rio, but if somebody said that Mario Chalmers is the best basketball player they ever seen, they would be wrong. And I was like, yeah, we'd be wrong. Then I thought about it. If his mama or his brother, his sister, or cousin, anybody in his family has declared that their relative is the greatest they ever seen, then it's not a wrong answer for them. So back to my statement. J-Dub, if you're watching, there is no right or wrong answer based on who is saying it. If I say it, it could be a wrong answer for me. If I give my reason why and my connection to Mario Chalmers, then that's it. There is no rebuttal. You just have to disagree, and it's simple, and it's okay. There is no right or wrong answer, and that's what makes the conversation fun, or that's what's supposed to make the conversation fun, because I give you my opinion and why I chose, and you give me yours, and now you got information about how my brain works and why I chose. You don't get to come back and say I'm wrong. You don't get to do that, not, at least not to me, because you can't be. I watched Julius Erving have a conversation with Stephen A. Smith, and he gave his top 5 greatest NBA players of all time, and Jordan wasn't in that list, neither was LeBron. And this is where I got my perspective from ever since I watched it. I forgot who he had in that category, but he named his top 5, and he simply said, these were my childhood heroes. These are guys I looked up to, and I don't care what I see in the NBA now or after them. They're not going to change my emotional opinion. Now, I can always give tribute to these guys and say Jordan is great, LeBron is great, Kobe is great, Shaq is great, but that do not change my personal opinion on who I put as the greatest of all time in my category. It's emotional. Pick. That's why you guys get so emotional, because when somebody don't agree with you, you come unhinged. Come unhinged. Like, I'm respectful. You come unhinged, y'all, and that's kind of immature. Y'all, the GOAT conversation, even when we're talking about situations like Stephen A. and LeBron, I mean, the situation gets out of hand because now somebody says something that you don't agree with LeBron about your son. Instead of listening what the man said, you listening with emotional ears, and then you come unhinged. And I said it before and I'll say it again. LeBron James should get fined for what he did. I don't care if it's Stephen A. Smith. You walked up to a fan, bro. He should get suspended. This your boy EC22 and the Fat with the Fan podcast. Man, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments. And I'm your boy, and I am out.